also empowered persons with disabilities to become productive parts of society, using also as a nation assistive technologies to accommodate PWDs is one way that we can also transform our society, and also ensuring that facilities are accessible, but also that teachers are trained to truly impact and educate persons with disabilities. He said many more gems, but those are things that I really connected with. And so as we have this discussion of transformative education, transformative thoughts, and also this awareness of persons with disabilities, we now invite you to watch this video presentation that we have curated for you. And I'm sure you will be seeing the transformative aspects of all the Heart NSTA has been doing, as well as the West Jamaica Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Churches. Please take a peek.
In a world that constantly strives for progress, it's often those who face the greatest challenges who show us the true meaning of resilience. Meet Damain, an extraordinary instructor at the Heart NSTA Trust Hanover Parish Office. Damain is not just a dedicated instructor, he's also a mentor, a guide, and an inspiration to all who work with him. Blind since birth, Damain has turned what many might see as an obstacle into a stepping stone.
I'm Damain Simpson, and my journey at Heart started at the Kenilworth campus in Hanover, where I was employed part-time as a career development officer, and there I did career counseling and taught life skills to the trainees.
While the world may see darkness, Damain sees opportunity. His journey has been one of determination, overcoming barriers, and most importantly, empowering others.
There are some minor challenges because Heart is generally paper-based at the time, and it took a little time to maneuver that sort of situation and putting papers together. But then gradually they installed speech on the computer, so a lot of my work was done using the computer.
As an instructor, Damain doesn't just teach skills, he instills confidence in his trainees. His approach is hands-on, guiding them with patience and wisdom, preparing them for the challenges ahead in the workforce.
I also worked in the capacity of mentorship coordinator, and was mentorship coordinator for the region 2 years ago. So through that program, I worked with 50 trainees yearly, helping them to navigate life properly. And out of that, we had several trainees who matriculate to higher education, better jobs.
Through his guidance, Damain shows us that disability is not a barrier to achievement. It's a different way of seeing the world and bringing that unique perspective into everything you do.
I enjoy the camaraderie with the staff who means Heart well. Working together to ensure that the numbers are met, the enrollment, certification, etc. The team building exercises, the on-the-job training, those things were of great importance for me, and I enjoyed them and still enjoying them.
At the Heart NSTA Trust, we celebrate diversity in all its forms. Damain's story is one of courage, perseverance, and the incredible impact one person can have on the lives of others.
I had 99% good treatment with my colleague. They did not see me as an individual with disability, but as an individual that has talent and is able to contribute to what was happening at the institution.
Today, let's celebrate those who lead with courage, strength, and heart. Like Damain, they remind us that nothing is impossible when we have the will to succeed.
heart cares, and we celebrate all diversity. And we now will be turning over to our able host for our Riverside chat, Kamara Dixon, with panelists Miss Dion Gale, Assistant Chief Education Officer of the Ministry of Education, Lorna Studdard, who is also a parent and a staff member of the Heart NSDA Trust, and we have Pastor Vincent Rose, Executive Secretary of the West Jamaica Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Churches. Please make them all welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to try that again. Good morning, everyone. Diversity in action. What did I just do? What did I just say to them? I said, good morning. My name is Kamara Dixon. I am 5 feet 3 inches tall. I'm about 113 pounds in recent times. Currently, I have natural hair. It's combed in a bun with a slight side sweep to the right. I am wearing minimal makeup, minimal. I am in a black and white zebra print dress. Of course, I'm highly melanated, dark-skinned. I am also looking as someone who has sleepy eyes, generally. I have an oval-shaped face, and I am wearing a black push-toe slippers. Why did I do that? This morning, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into our Riverside conversation, and we are extremely mindful that this Riverside chat encapsulates persons with disabilities. And I dare to say from our moderator, her words, persons with disabilities are persons with abilities. I am grateful to know that we are, as a country, through the Heart Trust NTA in partnership with the West Jamaica Conference, is being intentional in our approach to raise awareness and to highlight the importance that persons with disabilities are normal people like me and you. Normal people who deserve employment, who deserve love, who deserve care, who deserve the same treatment that you and I deserve. And so this morning, I ask one more time that you will put your hands together for the team at Heart Trust, NSTA Trust, and the West Jamaica Conference for this noble initiative. For those of you who are just joining us online specifically, we want to welcome you to our Riverside conversation. And you will hear from us in 2 different segments. We have 2 different segments coming up for our panel discussion. And our first conversation will see Miss Dion Gale and Mrs. Lorna Studdard and Pastor Vincent Rose taking the charge this morning. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Dion Gale. She is a mother of 2 young adults, and she's from the parish of Westmoreland, specifically Savannah Lamar. She attended the Mannings High School Micro Teachers College, the Micro Teachers College, and the Connecticut State University. Miss Gale's qualifications include a diploma with emphasis in special education, a Bachelor's of Science degree in guidance and counseling, and a Master's in educational leadership. She is a veteran with 22 years experience in the field of special education. She served as class teacher at the Landilo School of Special Education for 8 years, vice principal at the Landilo School of Special Education for 7 years, worked with the Ministry of Education as an education officer for 7 years. She was privileged to visit Japan in 2009, where she accessed training on how to facilitate disabilities in community activities. Miss Gale presently serves as the Assistant Chief Education Officer in the Special Education Unit in the Ministry of Education. She is dedicated to providing services for students and adults with special needs, and we are pleased to have her this morning as one of our esteemed panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you kindly to put your hands together for Ms. Dion Gale. And with me, as we had stated earlier, is Ms. Lorna Stoddart, a brave, strong woman. She can relate to the happenings of today because she is a parent of a disabled child. With us is a man who wears many hats, although, well, let's leave that part alone.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's all right. Well, we have the executive secretary here with us, Pastor Vincent Rose, who is quite poised in having this conversation with us. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome.
Yes, I was kind of hoping you would have allowed us to introduce ourselves, because I had my introduction in terms of my weight, my hair, and where it is poised towards, and so forth. But since you skipped that, go ahead.
I didn't allow you to do that because I realize your hair.
Okay.
Your hair isn't like mine, Pastor.
Okay, all right.
So, you know what? I'm going to ask you to do that for me shortly, so that those who are listening can appreciate the essence of your visual presence, yes? All right, so let's get this conversation going. We are talking about, under the theme, transformative solutions for inclusive development, but our discussion will be surrounding innovation and accessibility for persons with disabilities. I am a teacher at the Green Pond High School, and I've seen where my school retrofitted a classroom space and the school environment to accommodate my colleague, Sydney Watson. And the way in which the students welcomed him, it's heartwarming to see how Jamaicans, or people on a whole nowadays, are treating persons with disabilities quite normally. And I just want to salute my school as well for thinking about those special needs, persons with disabilities. So let me start by asking Miss Gale, what educational programs and resources are available to support students with disabilities at all levels, the primary level, the secondary level, the tertiary levels? And before you answer the question, if you would like, you may describe yourself for
Thank you.
the visually
I intended
impaired.
to,
Yes.
of course, for persons who are in our space that are visually impaired.
Yes.
And so that is a new norm that we do. We make sure that we describe ourselves. So I'm 5'9". I think I'm a little bit fat. Maybe some persons don't think so.
I don't think so.
Today I'm wearing a blue and black skirt suit. I'm going natural, so my hair is kind of high,
Yes.
and I wear glasses. So that's who I am, and that's how I'm looking today. All right, in answering your question, and that's a loaded question, and that's quite a lot, but let me try and see how best I can, summarize what we do. What are some of the programs that are presently available in the Ministry of Education, and by extension, the Special Education Unit. So, as it relates to programs, we do placement of students. We provide assistance in placing students in the most appropriate school program. Let me say before I go further though, in order for you to access this service, or any of our service for that matter, you must be assessed. There has to be a psycho-educational assessment in place. And that document gives us quite a lot of information, an IQ score, for example, the current functioning level of the student. And so that is what we would peruse. A team would peruse that document and make the decision as to the placement of that student. We also offer shadow services, where shadows are placed in the classroom with students. For example, students with ADHD, attention hyperactivity disorder, and the shadow is placed in the classroom to help that student to stay on task, to remain seated, to attend, to pay attention. And the shadow also understands when to give a student within attention breaks. So we offer that service as well. We also provide accommodations, examination accommodations. Again, of course, you would need the assessment report, and that is a document that speaks to what the accommodation would look like. So, for example, again, students with ADHD would be given a prompter in the examination room. The prompter is there to keep, again, the child on task and to know when to give the child breaks from the exam paper. Other services include, and you said primary, secondary, and tertiary, so let me do it like that. At the primary level, we have what we call the proficiency pathways, and that pathway places a student, again, according to their functioning level, they're placed on pathways so they can access intervention. The pathways, your life on the pathway is usually 2 years, where you access the intervention and then you're placed back on what we call mainstream. So you can access your PEP, you can sit your PEP examinations. That is one of the services that we provide at that level. At the secondary level, we have the APS program, which is the alternative pathway to secondary education. Again, the word pathway.
Yes.
So students, again, access a 2-year intervention, and then they're placed back on what we call the normal pathway, so they can sit their CSEC examination. Let me hasten to say, though, at different times on the pathway, you are assessed, or in some cases reassessed, so the decision can be made if you should remain in that school setting or if you should be placed in a segregated setting. And at the end of the pathway, the student, as I said before, would sit the appropriate examination, or they have the choice where they could leave that school setting and go into a different school setting. At the tertiary level, we provide all our services. So, for example, someone at this tertiary level can access a shadow. And we would have had cases where we would have provided shadows for students at Edna Manley, for example, for interpretation that we're seeing here today.
Yes.
And we would have assigned a shadow to a student at UTEC as well who had some physical disabilities. So there are no limitations. As a matter of fact, we have provided shadows for teachers in the classroom.
Amazing.
So presently we have 2 teachers who are visually impaired, and a shadow would have been assigned to them. So there are no limitations, as I said before, as long as you have your assessment report. And I know persons maybe online or even in our audience are saying that there is a long waiting list currently to be assessed. And so we have put in certain provisions where that is concerned as well. If you have a long waiting list, you can always come with a doctor's report, for example, a pediatrician or a family doctor who knows what is happening. They can speak to what they're seeing, and we can use that provisionally while we wait on the assessment report. So we don't want parents to think, oh, the wait is long. As long as you come with a doctor's report, then we are also able to facilitate and to do placement and shadow. So those are some of the programs that we have.
That's exceptional, I'd say. And it seemed to me that as a country, we have come a long way.
We have come a long way. We are leading in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And so as Jamaicans, I want us to be proud. I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
sometimes we complain a lot and we hear
Yes.
from mommy here.
Yes.
But we are leading in the Caribbean. We have ways to go, but we are proud of what we would have accomplished so far.
The average person, Miss Gail, would not be aware of these happenings, which is why conversations like these, why we have to salute the Heart Trust NSTA for opening our eyes to what is happening, because we may think nothing is happening out there to include our persons with disabilities. So I now want to salute the Ministry of Education and my country for leading the charge in this regard. So ladies and gentlemen, indeed, you may put your hands together. Things are indeed happening. I'm proud to be a part of this movement. Well, can we now just hear from someone who has a child? She has first-hand experience. She can tell you how it feels. She can tell you what it is like. She can tell you what she didn't like. She can tell you all about her experience. So I'm going to start by asking Mrs. Stoddart, what are some, first of all, tell me, is it a boy or a girl? An adult child?
It's now an adult child. My son, Jonathan. So I'm the parent. Can I introduce myself? Again?
Right. Go ahead.
So I'm Lorna Stoddart. I'm the parent of 2 boys.
Yes.
My second son, Jonathan, has cerebral palsy.
Yes.
I am proud to say that I'm the graduate of the esteemed Titchfield High School,
Yes.
which is moving on to the school challenge. Final, hence my colors this morning.
Had to put that in. I love it.
I'm wearing a
Repping
blue
for Titchfield,
and
yes.
gold representing my school this morning. And I'm also a graduate of the University of the West Indies. Currently, I work with the Heart NSTA Trust. And this is an organization that I feel proud, extremely proud to work for. And particularly in moments like these.
Yes.
Going back to your question about coping,
Yes.
I would say in any situation, for you to cope, first you have to accept. And that's what I did, accept my reality.
May I just pause you right there? Go ahead. That statement, I don't know if it fell on deaf ears, especially if you are watching online. That's a profound, life-altering statement. That those things we cannot control, what do we do with them? We accept them. Then, Mr. Darno, tell us more.
Right, so acceptance is a process.
Yes.
Because here it is, my first child was born and everything was okay. And the second one, this is now happening.
Yes.
So there is that thought of disbelief of this couldn't be happening.
Why me?
The why me, all of those things.
Yes.
But what is important, it is that that did not last long with me. I recognize that the sooner I accept what is going on,
Yes.
then I could now use my energy to do what I need to do in order to cope.
Yes.
My belief in the Bible and what it says, I did not dwell too much on the why me because I know why. There's a
Yes.
bigger picture that is bigger than us right here as to why things happen the way they do. And so for me, that process where I cried, and I still cry.
Yes.
My son is 18 years old and he's wearing diaper, he's dependent. I still cry, but I'm coping. And that process of acceptance led me to do my research, talking to the doctors, listening to the doctors, connecting with other persons. In the process of researching and reading, you come across different persons that are in a similar situation. So I now found that I was networking. One of the things I remember is traveling to Kingston to attend a workshop
Yes.
organized at the time by a parent who had taken on this role. She had given up her job and taken on this role. She organized workshops, and I remember that that was part of what helped me, her positive attitude when I went and listened to her and other persons like myself. So in the process of acceptance, it's a journey.
Yes.
But important, do not stay too long in that period of disbelief. Because if you stay there and you cry I get up, I counsel myself, Lorna, you're going to cry, and get up and cry every day. And when you get up and wash your face, Jonathan still has cerebral palsy. It won't change. And so I need to move to get help. And that's what I did. Part of my coping, when I think of coping, I think of my family.
Yes.
My family that loves me, that is behind me all the way. My grandmother, who is now deceased, and my mother were like towers of strength. And my entire family was like an army behind me. They helped me to cope. When I think of coping, I think of my friends.
Yes.
I have
Support system.
an whole army of friends
Yes.
that I feel them. They are there. I know that they are there. Even when I don't hear from them, if I need help, I know that there's somebody I can reach out to.
Yes.
And so it's very important. And having these persons in your life, you have to appreciate them and allow them to help you.
Yes.
Because being an independent person, it was a
Ego.
transition for me, moving from being able to just get up and go and do as I please, my child jump in the vehicle and gone, to somebody who now need help to get this child into the vehicle, right? So I have a whole association of spiritual brothers and sisters that are behind me,
Yes.
and that is part of my coping. Coping means taking care of yourself.
Yes.
I have to take care of myself before I can take care of my son. And so I make sure that I indulge in self-care. I make time for myself. Not because I have a child with cerebral palsy means that I can't go to see Berries at Intimate. I make arrangement for somebody to sit with him while I go.
I love it. I love it.
So
yes.
all of those things, I could sit here all morning, but
And
I
talk,
recognize that
yes.
we need to move on.
Absolutely. Boy, Mrs. Stoddart, pick up yourself, man. You know, I felt that to my core because I am also learning from your experience that in our adverse situations, if we only accept the fact and also embrace the help, knowing that we are surrounded by generals, we'll be able to manage. And I hear you to be saying that you still cry. You still cry, which is, to me, is saying that you embrace the humanness in you, which is also okay. Pastor Rose, sir, before I ask you the question, may I ask you to introduce yourself? And sir, please tell the truth about your hair, sir, please.
Well, I tell you what, what could I say? I'm follically challenged.
Well, we agree.
Yeah, all right. So most of the hair above my shoulder is under my chin.
Under your
Yeah,
skin, yes.
and it has changed color somewhat.
What
I'm
color
dressed
is
in
it?
I'm dressed in blue, by the way.
That's navy blue.
Okay, you. I just know blue. I'm 5'11". At least in my younger days, that's what I was. I don't know.
Yes.
I understand that after a while you start
Shrinking?
yeah, so I don't know. I made a promise earlier today that I will not say to anyone in the building who I went to school with,
Why not?
because I want them to keep looking good.
Okay, I get that.
All right.
All right, well, sir, as a church, West Jamaica Conference in particular, we are known to be part of initiatives like these.
Yes.
And I want you to share with our viewers, because I think persons may not be aware, but I'd like from your vantage point to share how our church, our community, ensure that persons with disabilities feel included and are actively able to participate in our worship experience.
Thank you. It begins with us having an understanding of who we are. That when Genesis mentioned that we are created in God's image, it makes no differentiation for complexion, for gender, for ability or disability.
Right.
And so the church has a unique perspective of people, just people in
Just
general.
people.
And so, having that in mind, we cater, the church has to cater for just about everyone. You have a talent, the church does not look on your ability or disability in selecting an officer or in a deliberate way involving you in the service of the church. As you would have noticed, many of our old buildings are being retrofitted.
Right.
The newer ones, just here we are putting up a multi-story building, and we said, look, if that is so, whether we have the funds or not, we have to make sure that the elevator is there.
Absolutely.
Because persons are going to, persons with disability will need to utilize it. And so we have to make the effort, because the church cannot be divided nor separated, and everybody must own this church. I say to persons all the time, and I want to remind us here, that relating to persons with disabilities has to do, one, with the spiritual, but it's also, I would say, enlightened self-interest. Because in my mind, there are persons at times who had ability that due to accident and other happenings may lose some abilities.
Right.
And so sometimes the bed that we make, we may have to sleep in it.
Right.
And so it is on us to make sure that we treat others how we would want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Some years ago, I came across a story, short, let me indulge me for a minute. 3 generations in a house, grandfather, son, and grandson. But the grandfather was now too weak and trembling, and he would break the chinaware. And so the son decided to go to the carpenter shop and make a nice wooden bowl.
Yes, sir.
So and he would put him grandfather into a corner, that his dad into a corner, with his wooden bowl on his wooden table and wooden chair to eat, and therefore he was not able to destroy any more chinaware. But he noticed something, that his son would wash the grandfather's dish every day. He was eager. This lazy little boy was always willing to quickly wash it. And he was amused, he was bemused. He said, son, why are you so eager to wash granddad's thing? He said, I want to make sure that I take care of it, so that when you are old and his age, I'll have it for you.
Yes.
So he put the wooden table outside,
Right.
threw away the wooden bowl,
Yes.
and put back granddad at the table, because he recognized that he was making his own bed. So how we treat others now may determine how we are treated in the future.
Yes. Amen. Somebody said amen. Yes. Wow. I mean, that's profound. Again, another life lesson. I mean, I am taking so many different life lessons from our conversation. How you treat others. It should take lodgment in your mind, because we just don't know what positions we will find ourselves in. And on that note, I come back to you, Ms. Gail. Pastor has spoken about the church's position, and I know that the Ministry of Education offers special development, professional development, and training opportunities for persons. But I want you to share with us some of those training or special professional development opportunities that teachers are provided with to further equip them to manage the task at hand.
All right, thank you for that.
Sure.
And let me just piggyback a bit. So Pastor Rose and I went to Manning School together. He's wearing the Manning's colors today.
So you spill the beans.
Yes, so I spilled the beans.
Yes.
All right, so yes, we do offer quite a bit of, what did you just mention? The programs? 'Cause
Yes,
I wanted to go
training or
Training,
professional development opportunities.
Okay, so
Yes.
before I go to the training, I did mention that there's a lot of programs. I want to go back a bit, because I think it's important, and I know both of you would have referenced, just retrofitting buildings.
Right.
And so that's a part of what the Ministry of Education does as well. As it relates to our plan for 2030, every year we'll be retrofitting 40 schools. with ramps, accessibility. So that is mandated now. And so every year, 40 schools will be chosen to be retrofitted.
Oh, amazing.
All right, so that's
Yes.
another thing that we're doing. All right. You asked about inclusion and some of the training now for teachers. So I want to
teachers,
take
yes.
it in two because I want to make sure that the audience understands.
Yes.
So we offer capacity building to our teachers, but we do it at the regular schools and we do it at the segregated schools.
And when we say regular schools,
Right, so I'm gonna, right. So the
clarify
regular
that.
schools is what you know, ladies and gentlemen, as primary or secondary schools. So like a Green Pond, for example.
Yes.
And then when I say segregated, I mean what persons are familiar with the School of Hope. Maybe if
Okay.
I say that.
Or Landilo.
Or Landilo,
Okay.
which is now Landilo, School of Special Education in this region.
Yes.
And so we have 5 schools throughout Jamaica,
Clear,
which
that's
were
clear.
formerly Schools of Hope. So those are the segregated and the schools for the deaf, and of course Salvation Army School for the blind.
Right.
So if I say segregated, those
That's
are the
what you
schools
mean.
right.
Perfect.
So for our regular schools now, our primary, secondary school teachers, we offer training. So we have some programs that we would have partnered with stakeholders. So like a UNICEF and a JCIF. We offer one that is called General Certificate in Special Education. It's offered every summer at the Michael Teachers College. And so teachers are exposed to special education, what is special education, what the students will look like, profile of the learner, and then of course intervention strategies. And it is a certified course, so you are
Okay.
certified at the end of that.
Right.
We also have what we call with the National College of Educational Leadership. We have inclusive principals training. It's a program, again, it's certified,
Right.
and principals access this training so they understand how to make their schools inclusive. I think I want to plug in here that we are seeing an increase as it relates to the amount of students that are presenting with special needs, and so maybe in another 3 to 5 years, all schools will have to be inclusive. And so I think it's important that I say that,
Yes.
so that people can have the mindset from now that we prepare, we include, we embrace, and we plan for students with special needs.
Yes.
I think that's very important.
I think so too. And already I'm looking at my school, and there is a young man there, quite friendly, just buoyant and intelligent, and he has cerebral palsy, and he's just there being integrated in the system as normally in a normal class as any other student. Yes, so I am grateful for that. I'm going to ask you though, is there any room for volunteerism?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
there
tell us
is.
about that.
There's always room for volunteerism. As a matter of fact, we would have had some students who are at the college level, Sam Sharp Teachers College, Michael Teachers College, they're doing special education. And so every summer they volunteer at the special education unit in Kingston.
Oh, okay.
However, if persons want to volunteer as shadows as well,
Okay.
we would provide the training, and you can always volunteer as a shadow. I want to quickly say something about HEART as well.
Yes.
That the special education unit, well, the Ministry of Education, but by extension, the special education unit would have started a beautiful relationship with HEART some years ago. And so we would have had several meetings, and I really want to commend the HEART Trust, not just now, but several years ago. HEART would have had the outlook to see how they could include persons. And I know Dr. Newsom Mary
Yes.
spoke to that this morning. And so presently we have a program where Heart Trust is actually training our shadows. Because we now want our shadows to be certified.
Yes.
So separate and apart from the training that we do as part of our capacity building, you can now be certified through Heart to become a teacher's assistant or a shadow.
Okay, wow. I love it, I love it, I love it. So things are indeed happening, and unfortunately, my time is up. But I can just get a minute, please? Thank you. Mrs. Stoddard, I'm gonna ask you this. What advice would you give to a parent, other parents who they're adjusting? They're trying to adjust to this beginning of raising a child with a disability. What would you say to them?
What I would say to a parent who is just on this journey, you can do it. You feel no because you're just getting into the situation that there's no way you can cope with this. But believe me, please be assured that you can cope.
Yes.
You just need to make that adjustment in terms of your mindset and take advantage of the help that is available to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And Pastor Rose, please just speak to the audience here, the wider community who are tuned in. How can we as a church community work together to create a more inclusive and supportive environment for persons with disabilities?
I believe that the church must be a community center. The truth is that as members of the church, if it is only a place where we go once per week for service, then we are misunderstanding the intentions of Christ.
Right.
The church is for the community. And we noticed that before, if Jesus met with hungry people, before he preached, he fed them.
Absolutely.
The same thing goes for his healing ministry.
Yes.
And so we have to take the same approach. The church must be opened where there are meetings needed, where there facilities are needed for community intervention. It should not be a question as to whether or not it should be, because that is why we are here.
Yes.
A few years ago, when we were asked to give up a half of this building,
yes, I remember.
we did not hesitate, because we are here for the community. There are some local congregations where if the attitude toward the community, if the church was on fire, the community may not even, let me say, spit
Right.
to out the fire. I believe that when you're having church building, half of the builders should be community people. Because they
Absolutely.
see what the church is doing in the community.
Profound statement.
So we are saying that it is a partnership. The church witnesses to the community. The community and the church are one. And though we preach, we teach, and sometimes, let's be real, sometimes there are doctrinal issues. Sometimes there are differences in belief. But human suffering knows no doctrine. And I believe we must focus, that's what we must focus on, relieving human suffering.
Wow, true words indeed. Put your hands together for my lovely, esteemed panelists. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our very first panel discussion segment. And I'd just want to say thank you, Miss Gail, Mrs. Stoddart, and Pastor Rose for sharing your knowledge. And I see persons taking notes, and I took some mental notes too, because some profound statements were made in this space just a while ago. After all, we are here celebrating, supporting, and raising awareness of the importance of seeing persons with disabilities as just people with abilities. How about that? So we ask you to stay tuned as we proceed into our program. I hand over now to our masters of ceremony. Thank you.
At the Heart NSTA Trust, we believe in embracing diversity and celebrating the unique talents that make us stronger together. Today, we are proud to highlight the story of Devon, a talented chef at the Cardiff Hotel and Spa, who proves that passion and perseverance can turn dreams into reality.
My name is Devon Anthony, and I work at the Hart College of Hospitality Skills, and I am the senior cook and range cook in the kitchen. Working with students is one of the great things that happens to me, because a lot of students hear about someone in the kitchen that is visually impaired, always curious, wow, how does he do this? How does he make mistake? Does he get caught? And being around me, they use me as an example, in the sense that if someone that has lesser vision can do it, so do they.
Devon is known for his culinary expertise, particularly his famous fried dumplings that guests can't stop raving about.
My first time being in the kitchen, well, I didn't know much about this stove or where they were. So I developed a technique where, okay, I'm going to use counting space here. So the steps that I take from the stove to whatever section that I am, which a lot of people didn't realize what I was doing until last minute. So my workspace, I tend to mark it with how I can alert myself. Well, if I'm going to be in danger or whatever, I always know the steps and the amount of area and space that I'm working with.
For Devon, the kitchen is more than just a place to work. It's a space where he challenges himself and shows the world what's possible regardless of the challenges he faces. With support from the Heart NSTA Trust, Devon has been able to build a successful career, showing us all the power of determination.
The organization has helped me a lot because students take me as a role model. At the end of the day, I get a chance to prove to people around the world that has lesser vision and more vision, that if we can do it, anyone else can.
At Heart NSTA Trust, we embrace diversity, not just as a value, but as a cornerstone of progress and innovation. Together, we can create a world where everyone, regardless of ability, can thrive.
Hello again. Let's go. Today, we're gathered here, and we will face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it's clear and state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Can you take down the volume of the track a little bit? I did what I had to do and saw it through with no exemption. I've planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. For yes, there are times when I'm sure you knew what I bit off more than I could chew, and through it all, where there was doubt, I ate it all and spit it out. I faced it all. I stood real tall, and I did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed, I've cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he
That was fantastic. I mean, earlier the host said she wanted to take off her wig. Well, I have a piece of hair wrap up around here, so, and I know mine, and I want to take it off too. And listen, I don't know, but can I say something? You are here. You are a person with a disability. You see, whatever talent God has given you, use it. Anything God give you for, whatever He bless you with. Because when He created you, He knew you were going to be a person with disability. So whatever talent, whatever gift He has bestowed upon you, utilize it. It doesn't have to sound like hers. It could be that you are an excellent cook, or you can draw, or you can even sing. Whatever your gift is, I'm begging you, use it up. Because God knew what He was doing when He created you. He created you for purpose, not for impression, but for impact. Don't forget. So I welcome you back to this segment where we talk about innovation and accessibility for persons with disabilities. And I am passionate about this because persons with disabilities are persons with abilities, right? Absolutely. So with me, I am going to ask individuals to introduce themselves. But again, just in case you're watching and you are visually impaired, I have not changed. I am still in the black and white zebra print dress, and I'm still 5 feet 3 inches tall, and I'm what Jamaicans will call maga. No, I'm not maga. I'm just slender. I'm petite, all right? And dark skinned. I do not wear glasses, and my hair is kind of natural, okay? All right, so I'm going to ask Mr. Blake to... Mr. Blake, did you get a visual image of how I look, sir? Did I do well? Thank you. All right. All right, so I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself. So those who are watching online and who are in-house, they may get an insight as to who you are.
All right. Pleasant good afternoon or good morning, whatever time of the day it is for you in the world. My name is Robert Blake. Of course, a proud citizen of Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. And also a person who has a disability, and I'm a proud blind man. Jamaican talk, we all know the dialect, isn't it true? Yes, man. I'm a proud person who is totally blind, did not blind from birth, but due to unforeseen circumstance, you know, later on in life, things change, time change, and things do happen sometime, and it happens sometimes sudden. Mm-hmm. And guess what? You don't even know when it's going to happen. But outside of that, myself has been a part of this journey as a person who is totally blind, pretty much 19 to 20 years ago. And my journey started with a very interested gentleman and a very interested lady. And I will salute them this morning, both in their presence and in their absence. I've encountered, I'll refer to her as Dr. Myrie. And I want you to put your hands together for this particular lady, because she is doing an excellent job when it touches us as persons who are living with disability. I'm a part of a group called Cornwall Combined Disability Association, and we strongly believe in advocating and lobbying for the rights of persons with disability. That being said, my encounter with Dr. Myrie was some years ago when we had approached Heart. Yes, man. And we had encountered Dr. Myrie. At that time, I believe she was the director. And guess what? Through our advocacy, we as persons with disability from Cornwall Combined Disability Association were able to benefit from a course that was tailorized, customized for us in event planning. And put your hands together again for Dr. Myrie.
Wow, that's amazing, Mr. Blake. That's so amazing. I'm going to.
That's just one encounter. There are many more.
I can just imagine that. I'm going to come back to you shortly, though. By the way, I like your red. It's striking. So, with me on my panel, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this lady. And then I'm going to ask her to give you a physical description of herself when I'm through. So, Mrs. Shireen Shaw, Thomas Shaw, she's a trained social worker, big up all social workers, yes, who has been working with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD. And for the past 14 years, she has been serving the JCPD of the Western Regional Parishes, which include St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, and Trelawney. Over the years, she has garnered her expertise in empowering persons with disabilities, which qualifies her as one of our esteemed panelists this afternoon. Mrs. Thomas Shaw is also a trained guidance counselor and a task force member of West Jamaica Conference Possibility Ministries Committee. Mrs. Shaw, please welcome and tell us how you're looking and feeling.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I am in a pink jacket.
Yes.
And a polka dot blouse. And I am wearing glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a little, what do I call it, in between brownish color.
Right.
And I really love to smile. So when I'm talking, I'm always smiling.
Yes.
And I am just looking relaxing, a little curly Sue here.
Yes. Awesome. And then we'll go to our next guest. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shaniel Shakespeare. I am the NSCP/Empowerment Officer for the St. James Parish Office of the Heart and Estate Trust. I am in a dress. It has black, red, and white on it. It's checkered or striped. Checkered. I am in a natural Afro puff.
Mm-hmm.
I am brown. And like Mrs. Shaw, I also love to smile. And I am petite in build. I am 5'5".
Yes, awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Blake. And as we are aware, you have proudly stated that you have been visually impaired for a long time now. And I'm going to ask you, because I can imagine that at times you faced challenges. Could you describe some of your biggest challenges that you have encountered, over a period of time, and what are some of the changes that you had to make that made a difference in how you access the resources around you? You want me to repeat it?
No, thank you very much for that question.
All right.
I'll try to do them in stages. As said, I have to encounter many, many, many challenges. As a matter of fact, I was wakened to the rude awakening as to where the system was at the time. Certain things were not necessarily put in place, yes, at the time. And because of that, we face a lot of discrimination.
Yes.
We face a lot of bias. We are called different kind of names. Certain privileges were not there for us to be able to access as we'd want, especially when it touched education. And when you reach a certain age, truth to be told, because you have a disability, almost literally, they just write you off.
Yes.
And what that did for me personally, that empowered me, that encouraged me, because what I did, I take it as a motivation to show to the rest of the world and Jamaica and those who have thought that nothing good can come from us as a person with disability, especially if you are blind. So what I have done personally, I believe in personal development, especially when it touches education.
Wow.
That being said, last year, December the 1st, I graduated at my young age and old and in between. So that will give you an idea that I'm not too young and I'm not too old. I would have graduated with my my bachelor in leadership from Emmanuel Caribbean University.
Amazing.
That being said, with a lot of all the other challenges, I have to know face every system. But one of the things that I personally do, I adapt and understand that together we stand, but divided we fall. What do I mean by that? What I then have to do is partner with Jamaica Council for Persons with Disability. What I then have to do is partner with Our Trust NTA. What do I also have to do? All entities that has to do with persons with disability, we partner together, we affiliate together. So together we come that we're able to tear down the barriers that separate us, that discriminate against us, that put us at the back of the line in regarding disability.
Put your hands together for this phenomenal gentleman. Mr. Blake, are you a motivational speaker?
I do everything that I wear. So many ads that I don't remember some of them, but
Listen.
just for figure of speech, yes, I'm one of the persons you will hear sometime on your radio. And just again to salute this special gentleman, well known to all of us, Dr. Senator Floyd Morris.
Oh, yes.
My first experience in being on radio was given to me by Dr. Senator Floyd Morris. Please put your hands together for that noble gentleman.
Wow.
Back then, he used to have a program on News Talk 93 FM called Seen from a Different Perspective. So every Monday, anytime after 1 p.m., and you hear the news, finish. The next voice you will hear is this particular person named Robert Blake, and I used to do the segment called Accessible Technology Corner, and that opportunity was given to me through Dr. Senator Floyd Morris. That was my first time on radio. Guess what is interesting? From then, I've been on 3 or 4 more radio stations, and he still don't know that I still continue in media, that up to this day, I now have my own program on More 91.7, which is heard every Monday, called Disability Beyond Border.
Wow.
For between 5 and 6 p.m. I also sit at the Parish Council, where I'm a part of the Road and Works, Civic.
Wow.
A couple other committees, I still don't remember some of
Yes.
them. I also are part of other disability group where I sit on the board, both local and internationally.
Yes.
I'm also a board member from the Jamaica Society for the Blind. Again, as I said, I wear different many hats. I'm a part of Cornwall Action Club through the Kiwanis. I am the immediate past president, and I'm also the president for the Montego Bay Jamaica Society for the Blind.
Wow.
Again, you will see me all over in the different medias at different places, doing different things, wearing different art. And through the Seventh-day Adventists, Sunday gone, they had what we call Possibility Ministry. And this was held right here in my city called St. James Montego Bay at G West, and through Cornwall again, and all the others affiliates through Seventh-day Adventists, we were able to partner with them and benefit from what I call the Media Expo. So I really salute the work that the church, the community, and each and every one that is doing. And through art, I am also one of their mentor. Yes, I'm one of those voices that you will also hear outside of the radio, and I do counseling and a lot more other stuff. So please, again, I'm delighted to be a part of the journey and to use my own journey to motivate others, that others know that if I can do it at my
They can do it too.
age, you can do it too.
Amen. Absolutely. Put your hands together for this man. He's amazing. Mrs. Shaw, you've heard Mr. Blake. To me, he sounds intrinsically motivated because he used his setbacks as a motivation to where he is today. And so I want you to tell me a little bit about your role at the JCPD and how it's supporting persons with disabilities.
Yes, sure. So the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities is a statutory body under the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And we believe in empowering persons with disabilities. Also,
Like Mr. Blake.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Mr. Blake, as he said, we're connected. He knows me very well. And we believe, as I was saying, in empowering persons because, you know, I believe, just as how Mr. Blake has become an advocate, And we have the West Jamaica Conference becoming an advocate. If everybody become an advocate for persons with disability, the inclusion that we're looking for will become seamless. Yes. So one of our major roles, we see persons with disabilities as a person. We don't see their disabilities. So we believe in empowering them by providing programs such as allowing them to become self-employed. So we have a grants program where persons can do small business to generate an income. Right. So not to be dependent on the government for a handout.
Yes.
So these persons, they sometimes identify, like for example, operating a small grocery shop, chicken rearing, etc., just to name a few. And we also provide assistive devices for persons with disabilities so that they can improve in their mobility. So we have partnered with the Ministry of Health, where we have the prosthesis. So prosthesis device is quite expensive, yes? And we realize, unfortunately, a lot of persons are becoming either severely diabetic or having poor circulation. And we have increased amount of persons who are becoming amputees. And this device is quite expensive. So we have partnered, we normally pay $250,000 to assist this person in purchasing the device. So in partnering with the Ministry of Health, persons now can receive up to $520,000 to purchase this device. We also have the assistive aid, which is hearing aids for persons who are hearing impaired. We also provide wheelchairs, walker, just to name a few. We also provide educational grants. Yes, because sometimes parents cannot afford to pay the tuition fee. Because in the Western area here, we don't have a lot of public schools. So, and autism is on the rise. So we have assist persons with paying their tuition fee or purchasing back to school items such as bags, books, etc. We also provide the assistance in terms of medication. Also for persons to do diagnostic tests, eyeglasses. Even in the case of death, we assist with funeral grants. And we also have partnered with the National Housing Trust, where persons can register with us, receive a verification letter, and they can receive, once they are contributing, they are a homeowner already, and they're a mortgager, they can receive a grant to allow their home to become more accessible. Yes, so the NHT provide a grant presently, $300,000 to allow their home to become more accessible. Yes, and also we thank NHT as well, where 5%, once they're building a housing scheme, 5% of the houses are allotted to persons with disabilities. Yes.
That's amazing.
So we have quite a few services provided for persons with disabilities. And we also have the Margaret Moody Scholarship. So Margaret Moody Scholarship. So if persons are interested in going to university, we have a scholarship program that can assist them as well.
So basically we're saying that we have no excuse.
No.
Whether we have the ability or we're a person with disability.
And I must say this as well.
There's no excuse, yes.
Yes, so that these benefits are not just, say for example, I am a person with disability and I am the only persons, the caregivers, the parents can apply on behalf of the person with disability to receive this grant.
I want you to dive some more into that because that was my follow-up question. How about the caregivers? How do they access financial services, supports to assist them with their persons they're caring for?
Yes.
So you could dive more into that.
Sure. So there's a registration process, right? So once a person have a disability, we issue a medical form that will be certified by a doctor. So whether it be an ophthalmologist, a psychiatrist, or a general practitioner based on their disability. That medical form will be completed by the doctor. Then we have the registration form, and that person with disability can complete it or their caregiver, right? Now, documents are accompanied by, for adults, they would need a copy of their birth certificate, 2 passport size photo verified by a JP or Minister of Religion, a copy of their ID, national ID, and their TRN. And for children, we would need a copy of their birth certificate, and for the parent, a copy of their national ID and TRN.
Okay.
So once we gather this information, then the person can register. Yes.
And for persons here who are listening and who would perhaps like to access this service, is there a contact number they could use to get to your company, to get to you, maybe?
Well, for me, yes, I'm in the Western region, so my CUG is 876-352-0726.
Repeat that.
So that's 352-0726, area code 876.
Okay, yes, because, I mean, we do not have the time to delve more into the services, but essentially I'm seeing where a lot is happening and persons can access the services.
Yes.
Is there a website?
Right, I was going to say that. So they can go www.jcpdja.gov.jm,
Right.
or they can just go on Google and enter Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, and it will redirect them.
Where in St. James are you located?
We're at 4 Sam Shop Square, right at the
Really?
Ministry of Labor and Social Security, yes. So we have a representative right across. There would be someone who can give you an assistance
Right.
to either collect the forms or issue a form to you or to answer your questions. And also you can go on the website to receive this document.
Okay, absolutely amazing, Miss Shakespeare. I see you shaking your head like, wow, things are happening, and perhaps some of what she has said I didn't know, and maybe you're saying the same thing too. But could you share with me your role at the Heart
NSTA Trust.
Thank you. NSTA Trust. Just share with me your role there and how that is integrated into empowering persons with disabilities.
Sure, thank you. All right, I am the NSCP/Employment Officer, and that means I have responsibility for executing the employment program along with the job coach and the assistance of our manager and regional director. So persons who are disabled or living with a disabilities, whether they're deaf, they have a physical impairment, an intellectual disability, they can come to our office and sign up once they are 17 years all the way up to 34 years. Then they can apply.
Okay.
They need to provide us with their birth certificate, TRN, IDs, a doctor's report, and then they're processed. For 3 weeks, they are treated at a camp where they learn employability skills such as budgeting, personal development, taking care of their hygiene, interacting with others, and just basically transitioning into the workplace. And then for 6 months, they are placed, and while they're placed at the organization, the job coach goes and looks for them to ensure that they are fitting into the workplace in a seamless manner.
Ah, yes, and my mind took me to the workplace as you were speaking, that if you've had to intervene in any situation where persons with disabilities are being refused to work in a particular capacity because of their quote-unquote disability, have Heart had to intervene at any time? And what was that experience like?
Well, the good thing, the job coach sets the groundwork before the persons with disabilities are placed. So they will go in, inform the supervisor of the strengths and weaknesses of the trainee, advise them where best they would be suited. And as a result of that, we rarely have experiences where we have to go back in to say, oh no, why did you put them there? The employers are always working with us from the very onset to ensure that they are put at a place where they can function to their best ability. And one of the rewards for us as persons who work with persons with disabilities is when they're permanently employed after their 6 months would have ended. So that's always a plus.
And I see you smiling because of that plus. Tell me some of the success stories or some of the testimonials that persons with disabilities have come to say, you know, Miss Shakespeare, I thank you so much. I thank Heart so much for doing this for me, for believing in me. I'm sure you have some of those experiences, and I am intrigued to hear it.
All right, so I know for certain that one of our organizations. Cornwall Garden Center would have employed a young man who left. He has a physical disability, and to date, he is still there. So every time we see him, he's
Yes.
always excited to see us because he's grateful for the
Yes.
opportunity. Burger King, too, is another organization that always takes our trainees and employs them
Right.
afterwards. So they're able to provide for their families, they're able to just do small things for themselves, save to buy a phone or save to go on a trip. So that's always great to hear.
Yes, and that's empowerment to
Yes,
me at its
that is,
finest.
it is.
I'm coming back to you now, Sir Blake, and I see you shaking your head like you're standing in solidarity with what we're saying here. But I want to ask you, though, what are some of the misconceptions about disability that you wish persons would understand?
There's a whole lot, but to be honest,
Yes, so
let me
give me a
first
few.
commend Ms. Shakespeare
Yes.
for the good work that she's doing along with Heart. And as I said, we do partner with them, and through the empowerment program, normally we, as Cornwall Combined, would provide persons to them that also get the experience to enjoy what it's like to know work and also to be trained by them in different areas. So we really have come a long and a far way, both with Heart and JCPD and all the affiliate groups. But some of the misconception that persons has is that the truth is they see the disability and not your ability. That's one of the first barrier.
True.
Not only just that, immediately in their mind, they think you're not able to do anything. And whenever you try to seek the opportunity, there seems to be what we call different types of barriers.
Yes.
And sometimes because of misconception, and when you don't know and understand that there are resources and sources out there that you can access, and you take what the average person say without checking it out for yourself, that becomes very misleading. And that's why I will also commend JCPD, because again, as I said, I have partnered with all of them for their work and some of the initiative. I too is one of the beneficiary of what we call the empowerment grants, and through that I would have had my own technology business running in a community. So again, I can tell you that all some of the benefits that are out there, persons are able to benefit. But remember one thing, knowledge is power. And the truth to be told, go straight to the source. Don't take what John said, what Brown said 10, 20, 30 years ago, because things and time have changed. And
yes.
through the evolution of technology, a lot of us now are able to benefit online in different ways through other courses. Again, persons with disability were not able to come online because the technology was not accessible. But a person like myself, again, as I go along, sometimes I remember some of the things. I am one of those persons who believe in accessibility at all levels, especially when it touches technology. What do I mean by that? I am what you call a person who volunteer through Microsoft, Google, Apple, because those are the giants. And what we do, we provide feedback as to what we want to become accessible, so we're able to use both the device and their product and their service, and it goes right across the board, globally, locally, and internationally. So those are some of the misconceptions that I want to speak to, and some of the barriers. Please tap into the resources that are there. Jamaica, as a third world, has come a very far way with the Disability Bill and Act in many, many ways. JCPD has improved in a lot of different areas that we can give them credit. Again, as I said, Heart Trust itself have also facilitated for us. In my closing and leaving, the one thing that I want to say out there publicly to everyone, if it is possible, the devices, as we know, both for person with disability and without, are a lot of times very, very expensive. If it is possible that the entities can put policies in place to facilitate us, to give us the device or the tool for us to work with, many of us, truth to be told, will be able to get more done and also be a part of what is happening both locally and internationally. I'm simply saying, provide us with the device, and that will help us to come back to school and educate ourselves and go to the next level and also become productive in terms of employment. Another issue, I remember my personal experience when I just lost my sight. I would have made a call to the free zone, because I think that's easy, 1, 2, 3, customer service, call rep, that kind of thing. And I would have gone through everything, and guess what they said to me? I had the opportunity to go out there to type in, and the first thing the human resource manager said, Lord Jesus, you couldn't tell me say you're blind. What does that say to you immediately? Immediately, that's a dismissal. However, with everyone that is there doing the typing test, I asked permission to use an headset and what you call a screen reader. I then passed the test. Then hear the lady again, Jesus Christ, it's a blind man. I said, Miss, on my birth certificate or my document that I provide, did you see anything that says blind?
Blind, I know, right?
So based upon that,
Yes.
I'm just saying to you, let's show beyond the odds and show Jamaica and its environment that we can do it.
Absolutely. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Robert Blake. Also for my panelists, Sharina Thomas Shaw and Ms. Shanique Shakespeare. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. I mean, we have come to the end of the discussions. We could take another hour or two to talk some more at the Riverside. I'm loving these conversations, and I'm sure you at home and in-house enjoyed the conversations and have been enlightened as to what has been happening in the government space, in our schools, just in our community and in our churches, as we involve or include persons with disabilities as just people with abilities. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of our conversation. My name is Kamara Dixon. I'm out.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dixon. Thank you so much to the panelists. Indeed, it has been an insightful chat at the Riverside, and I'm not sure if the camera can pan out a little bit just to show that the river is actually moving behind there. I sat there and I was looking at it, and I was just so soothed by the ebb and flow of this stream, how gentle it was. And so this Riverside chat has really and truly opened us up to having more dialogue. And I am sure that even in our own spheres of influence, that this conversation will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to be having an item, and that will be from the Caribbean Christian School for the Deaf. Please make them welcome.
At Heart NSTA Trust, we embrace diversity, not just as a value, but as a cornerstone of progress and innovation. Together, we can create a world where everyone, regardless of ability, can thrive. Today, we highlight individuals who are breaking barriers and redefining what it means to be empowered in the workplace. Today, we share the inspiring story of Audley, a massage therapist at Salon 10, an employee of the Heart NSTA Trust.
Hi, my name is Audley Jones. Currently I work with the Hart College of Beauty Services, Salon 10. I'm a massage therapist.
Audley is not just any massage therapist. He's an exceptional professional with a unique perspective. Being blind, Audley's world is one of heightened senses and deep connection. His ability to read the body through touch is a testament to his dedication, skill, and passion for helping others feel better.
My instructor daily would say to me, Mr. Jones, society owes you nothing. And it took me some time to really understand what he was saying. Later, I found out that he was preparing me for this work world and not to be looking for a person for pity or anything of such.
In a world where many people see, Audley feels. He feels the tension, the stress, the pain. With years of experience, he has mastered the art of massage therapy, using his hands to bring relief, restore balance, and rejuvenate his clients. His talent goes beyond just technique. It's his intuitive ability to understand the body and respond to its needs. Each movement he makes is informed not only by his training, but by his extraordinary sensitivity to the human form. His clients trust him completely, knowing they're in the hands of someone who truly understands the healing power of touch.
I found myself now started to do things in a different way, ignore all the negative comments around me, and also try to outdo others around me. Like sighted person, I always try to put in like 200%, while others might put 100.
At the Heart NSTA Trust, we believe in creating an inclusive and supportive environment for all employees. Audley's story is one of resilience, perseverance, and excellence. He's an inspiration not only to those who work with him, but to everyone who hears his story. He proves that with the right support, every person, regardless of ability, can contribute meaningfully to society and achieve great things.
I am unique, and I think Heart is also a unique place, a unique company.
As we celebrate our colleagues, we salute Audley for his unwavering commitment to excellence and his contribution to creating an inclusive and compassionate workplace. Together, we embrace diversity. Together, we thrive. This is the Heart NSTA Trust. We are stronger together.
Get so high sometimes. I know the valley seems so wide. It seems this journey, it will never end. And you keep asking the question, God, why? I know the road, it gets so rocky at times. I know the heartaches are severe. It seems like life will never change its tide, but there's an answer to all of life here's stay with God. In spite of what you see or feel, stay with God. In spite of how things may appear, stay with God. It doesn't matter what may come our way, there is only one place we are safe. Stay with God. I know the way you feel says give up now. I know you feel you can't hold on. You're not the only one who is carrying your load. Remember, he said to cast all your cares on him. I know you cry and tell everyone you meet, in God's hand, then today I tell you your mountains have to disappear. Come on and stay with God. In spite of what you see or feel, stay with God. In spite of how things may appear, stay with God. It doesn't matter what may come our way. There is only one place we are safe. Stay with God.
And gentlemen, could we have a bigger round of applause for the Caribbean Christian School for the Deaf? Please, 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 indeed, this is a difficult task because if I can hardly do sign language and they cannot hear what the song is saying and they still do the sign language, it is definitely a difficult task. So while you clap, also do this so they know that you're also cheering them on. You are cheering them on. Very, very well done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has indeed been a beautiful day. But before we go, I also want to alert persons that if you need more information from the special education units at the MOE, you can contact Miss Gail or Mrs. Gale at 37 Arnold Road, Kingston 5, and her CUG, her closed user group contact, or it is what we call her work cell phone. It is 876-295-7456. So that is 876-295-7456. And if you want to go there, it is at 37 Arnold Road, Kingston 5. Ladies and gentlemen, it has truly been a pleasure being here, but I noticed that everyone else was given a description of themselves and I did not, so my apologies. So as your host, I am someone with natural hair. I'm going to go from top. I have natural hair that is in a high bun. I am dark skinned. I've got a roundish face, and I am also very fluffy. I will not use the other word. I am fluffy. I am wearing a tan jacket with a tan blouse on the inside and a checkered blue, tan, and white pants with tan shoes. In other words, I'm very fashionable. Yeah. Let me get back to being demure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the close of our Riverside chat, and I hope that it has been well worth it for you, and that you not only learned, but you indeed have now become more appreciative of persons with disabilities, because indeed they are persons with abilities. And listen, their disability is not a liability, and we will now learn to appreciate what they bring to the table, which is all their love and all their abilities. Thank you so much for joining us, persons online. I wish you were here to really appreciate how beautiful this event was and how beautiful everyone is. Thank you so much, and we go forward together. Thank you.
At the heart of the Southwest TVET Institute, there's a story of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering commitment. This is the story of Catherine, a dedicated records officer at the Heart NSTA Trust.
Hi, my name is Catherine Reed, and I am the records officer for the TVET Institute, Region 5, and I'm based at the Newport campus.
Several years ago, Catherine began noticing a significant change in her hearing. What once seemed like a minor inconvenience quickly became a major challenge. A sudden hearing disability started to affect her day-to-day tasks and communication at work.
It is now 14 years. Since then, the teams I've worked with, they have been very supportive. Initially, I was based at the Mandeville Regional Office, as it was called back then, now the Manchester Parish Office. The team mobilized themselves and organized a fundraiser, in-office fundraiser, and this covered the cost of my specialist visits.
With determination, Christine embraced new tools and strategies to adapt to her changing circumstances. She became a beacon of strength and perseverance, showcasing that disabilities don't define a person's ability to excel.
I have tried personally to encourage and facilitate communication, and if that means having to go above and beyond.
But Catherine's journey was not one she faced alone. The support of her colleagues and the Heart NSTA Trust community made all the difference.
My advice to those in similar situations, and even to the hearing person, is do not allow your situation to use you. Use your situation. Additionally, do not allow circumstances and whatever it is that you're experiencing, your the unfortunate situations, do not allow these things to define you. You have it within you to redefine all of this.
Today we celebrate the strength of individuals like Catherine, who inspire us all to embrace diversity, inclusion, and the power of resilience.